feeling today, men? Are we motivated? Are we ready to take down this world? Are we ready to get things done? I hope you are. I know you are. Another great guest. I'm excited about this one. We're going to have a good conversation. Before we get to my guest, let me just talk to you real quick. Man, this has been on my mind for the last few days, and it finally hit me, and I wanted to say it to you. There's a lot of talk about us men that we don't get acknowledgement. We don't get positive reinforcement about us, about maybe what we do or who we are. There's always a talk about the first time a man gets flowers is at his funeral. And it occurred to me that I've decided I'm sick and tired of waiting for other people to tell me how good I am. I've decided I'm done with waiting for positive reinforcement from others. And I've decided the only voice that I'm really going to expect to remind me how good I am is my own voice. And I'm going to say that to you. You may not have the people around you supporting you the way they should, but there's one voice that should always positively reinforce you and make you feel good and remind you of how amazing you are. And that is your voice. You need to tell yourself, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I am empathetic, I'm passionate, I love people, I give more to people than maybe they give me, I add in relationships. You need to be the voice of reason in your life. And if nobody else does it, your voice should be enough. Now, I always say something positive at the end of this podcast, and I will continue to do so. But for now, I want you to make sure that you are the loudest voice in your head. And that voice is saying, you're good. You're good people. Anybody that gets to know you is honored to do so. And the more you do that, the more you hear it, the better off you'll be. So that's my message for today. Let's get to it. Get me a man, a brother to get on this platform to just talk. And I got lucky and I got to start to talk with. Let's bring this man in here. This brother is Avery Mason. How you doing today, sir?
Yeah, how you doing, Harvey, man? It's good to see you, man.
Likewise. Thank you for joining me. I am honored to have this conversation with you. And if you are a watcher or listen to this podcast, my favorite thing is this nice piece of paper. It's the bio. I
Uh-oh.
like to sit back and listen. It's a story about you, brother.
Uh-oh. There we go. Don't
Avery
tell him
Mason.
everything. Don't tell him everything. You just leave some stuff out. I got some
Avery,
stuff I don't need nobody knowing about, bro. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
keep that shit to the side. I'm sorry about that. Avery Mason is a 6'4" tall actor and comedian who's making
Yeah.
waves in the comedy and entertainment world. Hailing from the streets of Brooklyn, New York, Avery's journey transforms adversity into humor. He can be found selling out shows across comedy stages in New York City.
Mm.
Beyond comedy, Avery's a storyteller who captivates audiences
Church.
with authenticity and relatability. He has
Mm-mm. Talk
appeared on
about it.
television shows, including The Punisher and The Good Wife, but is best known for his reoccurring role as Black Grimace on the Starz hit show Power.
Won't he do it?
Yes, balancing his menacing on screen performances with his comedic genius on stage and his on air podcast conversations, Avery is a rising star bound to leave an impressive mark in the entertainment industry. Mr. Mason, you have done and there's so much to come. I do
Yeah.
that on purpose. We don't always hear positive words thrown at us men. What's it like hearing what you've done? What's it like hearing your bio, brother?
You know, it's amazing because honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you or the listeners on this podcast. You would have told me this 20 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. I never had an interest in acting until I really looked into myself and figured out that's something I wanted to do. But those accolades were not something I could have imagined when I started acting. And it took me a while to kind of get used to it and be like, yo, that's me. I've done that. Like people coming up to me like, yo, I love you this. I saw you on this. It was great. It's like I never imagined meeting, Harvey, the actors that I met that I work with and find out they're cool people just like me. So it's a blessing, and I'm just happy to have the opportunity to do some work that I enjoy.
That's good. That's good. We never know where we're going to end up. We may think we're going to do one thing and we end up in a completely different area.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of like what happened in, my situation, my career.
All right. All right. If this is the first time you're watching or listening to this podcast, welcome. This is a space for men to be open, vulnerable, and emotional. I want men talking. And it's not that I don't enjoy the stories that I hear, but it's almost secondary to the fact that the man is talking. We're not the most expressive. So when I get a man on here to talk about anything, I've done my job. With that said, the way I run this podcast, I took the word prize. For the letters in prize represent characteristics that I think are good for men, and we're going to talk about it. The first letter in the word prize is P. The word is purpose. Purpose is defined as reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. Avery, what is your purpose now?
I believe my purpose right now in life is to support my family and raise my children. I have well, he's about to be 8 years old in like a week, but my son is 7, and I want to teach him how to be a man. My dad was not in my life like that, so I'm trying to break the generational thing. I'm trying to change it up. Like I'm trying to. This is like a new for me, so I'm trying to show him what my dad didn't do for me, and for my daughter. Just had a baby girl on January 22nd, so I'm trying to be a dad for her and support my wife and my family the best way I know how, and do it in a way that doesn't embarrass my family uh, or like kind of put a damper on the way I was raised. I was raised in the church, you understand? So like I know my morals and stuff. So that's my purpose. And be a light to others, try to be a positive person for other people who think that, they want people to see me and be like, yo, I could do that too. He's just like me.
Okay,
He's where I'm
excellent.
from.
That's what's up. So I have a question. So you didn't have the father in your life being, I guess, the way a father should be, the one present and such.
Yeah.
Is there anything, is there anything specific that you do that you needed growing up? Is there something that you know what I wish I had this and now my son's gonna get it or my daughter's gonna get it? Is there a particular action, something?
Yeah, my mom raised me and she did the best she could, but I feel like there are things that like a man can teach another man, like, how you carry yourself in the street, certain ways to address, conflict, how to have thick skin, be a little tougher. Not saying he's got to be like a wall of granite, but sometimes when you need to be a man, you got to know when to be a man and when to be a man. You see, this is handshake. You know what I mean? There's different times and ways, and although my mother did the best she could, she never wanted me to fight. She was anytime I had any trouble growing up as a kid, she was like, "No, go tell the teacher." Like sometimes you can't always do that. Sometimes you need to be able to, raise your voice, assert yourself, and be like, "Hey, no, leave me alone." And I feel like these are things that I'm teaching my son how to assert himself, how to deal with like adversity. I'm not tough on him, but I'm firm. You know what I mean? So like he understands that like, look, if somebody talks to me this way, it's not. I can handle it because this is how my dad spoke to me, and I can deal with that kind of a stress or aggression. So these are some things I'm teaching him. I don't think my dad was around to show me these things. So all a lot of stuff I learned from partly from my mom and a lot of my uncles and my cousins and stuff and my godfather and people who had influence on my life. So it's kind of like I'm walking a pretty much unbeaten path. Like I've never done this before. So so
Okay,
this is fun. It's fun.
that's good.
It's
So if
stressful.
oh, no doubt, oh,
Very
without
stressful.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your mom raised you.
Yeah.
And you said something which I agree with that. I mean, I've always felt like a mother is somebody who can really show you how to be a good human, but a
Yes.
father is somebody who can show you how to be a good man. But
Yeah.
that's not to say that mothers can't help. Is there anything you can think of that your mom helped with in terms of masculinity?
Oh, well, my mom definitely taught me how to treat women the right way. My dad wasn't a good example of that for me, which is why he and my mother like divorced and everything. So,
Right.
but my mother really showed me how to be in touch with my emotions, how to express myself, how to take care of myself, how how to cook, how to clean, wash clothes, and things like that, and the right way to treat women. And you learn a lot growing up around women. I learned a lot about women. I have two sisters. I have a twin sister and an older sister, my mother, so it's just us. So everything, a lot of stuff in my life is influenced by women. So I think it's kind of like the cheat code, at least for me, in dealing with women outside of my family and my life. But there's, like I said, there's other things that she wasn't able to do, like as far as dealing with like bullies and you know her advice to me, we just tell the teacher, like I said. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to be able to raise your voice a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, but there, she was a wonderful parent, and she did the best she could, and I think she did a fantastic job because I've never been in trouble. I mean, she was hard on us. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think my mother was a lot harder on me than my dad was, which some people might, it might be funny to hear that, but let me tell you, my mother's West Indian, and she don't take no nonsense. So there were expectations that she set for me in my life. I had to get an education. I had to get my degree. I had to graduate. And these were things that she set for me, guidelines she set for me from like young. So I already knew what was expected of me. So my mother, once I follow those expectations, I stay out of trouble. But anytime I veer off the path, you know, it's a problem. But she did a wonderful job, and
That's
I'm just trying to pass some of these values on to my son, along with my own understanding of the world and what I learned in my life.
understood. Understood. All right. The next letter in the word prize, the letter is R, and the word is resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. I feel like you kind of maybe have answered the question already, but I'll throw it at you again. Can you think
Okay.
of a situation, something that's happened in your life where you learned that you had a resilience that you didn't know you had?
Okay. Well, I mean, that what I told you before was part of it, but I'll give you something a little more recent. So we all went through COVID in 2020. The world shut down. I mean, when I say the world shut down, I mean everything. Everything. There was no movies, there was no acting, there was no auditions. During COVID time, I probably maybe did two things for that entire span. That was it. uh During that time, it was a little tough because like I have to work to pay the rent, and instead of sitting around and sitting at home and waiting for like COVID to be over, I went out. I got a job, and I just started hustling. And a lot of people, I'm not even gonna lie to you, Harvey, there were people that did recognize me. I did try to cover my face because I didn't want the attention, but also, I'm doing what I got to do. So I went out there, I went out and got a job, and I was just moving just to make sure we could keep the lights on until things opened up, and I could get back to acting, get back to work. So I mean, that's part of being a man. There's no excuses. You gotta do what you gotta do, and that's what I did. And I think that speaks to resilience. Like I come from a family of blue collar people, we're all West Indian. Like, and everybody I've known in my life has always had a job. So it's like, all right, well, this isn't working. All right, time to turn around, go get it. Like, you- there's no, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, is as soon as they said, when did they shut down? Was it March, bro? Was it March, right?
Feel like it was pretty early to my wife's. Yeah, feel
Yeah,
like you're right. You're on point. Yeah.
because I remember it was like Kobe. No, Kobe dying was 2019. I'm bugging. I just
Mhm.
remembered. Yeah, I remember all that stuff started, and then like they were like, "Well, it might be a temporary shutdown," and I was like, "Okay, I'll hold off." And then as soon as they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to stay home," I was like, "Let me find this job application because I'm not about to sit around here and wait for help." I've never believed in waiting for help. I believe you gotta get out there and get it. No one's gonna bring nothing to you. No one's gonna say, "Hey, Harvey, I heard you're not working. Here's No one's gonna do it. Here's $1,000." Just like it did. Even if the government was offering it, I know they were, but it just, to me, it was just like, nah, I gotta go out there and hunt, go get it. No
Yeah,
excuses.
no doubt. That's what we're raised to do. That's what we are. We're here. We're the
Yeah,
provider. We are the one to make sure everything stays running. So I applaud you. I remember that I was at home with the wife. We never hung out so much as the fact that we couldn't leave. So other than you,
yeah,
supermarket, but it was just us and dealing. Were you married by then?
yeah. I've been married a long time. Been married since 2010. I met my wife in college,
Okay.
and we've been together ever since.
Okay. How did COVID affect your relationship with your wife?
It was really tough because I'm the kind of person, I deal with adversity a little bit differently than she does. I don't internalize a lot of things. To me, I deal with what's in front of my face, and I deal with the situation as it presents itself. I don't look down the line and be like, oh, I'm worried about this thing or this thing could happen. I don't worry about the could be's. I worry like about what's in front of me. That's just kind of like how I deal with stress and anything in day-to-day life. Like, all right, how can I just get through today? I deal with what's in front of me. Unfortunately, my wife, um, when COVID happened, there were a lot of things going on. Trump was getting elected. She was not a fan of Donald Trump. I mean, some of your views may be, but there are other people who are just not. And she was going through some physical pains as well, and we didn't know what it was. So a lot of those things kind of like built up to really stress her out. And in addition to the COVID stuff, which at the time we didn't know what it was. We didn't know how you catch it. So she's just like, she's spraying our mail. She didn't want to go outside. She's worried she has COVID. And I didn't worry about it because I couldn't, like, we got rent to pay. You understand? So I was, don't get me wrong, dude. I was taking precautions and I was worried about COVID, but my primary goal was to keep food on the table, money in the bank, and a roof over our head. I wasn't worried about COVID. COVID could go, kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. I'm not about to be afraid of something I can't see, doing everything I can. So was just my mindset. But hers wasn't like that. She was in the house every day. She didn't go outside. So it kind of all it built up in her, and she had to go, talk to a therapist to help work through some of the issues related to that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, COVID was tough for a lot of us. You think you know people, but when you're kind of trapped, and not trapped is the wrong word, but to a degree we were. When we're
Yeah.
in our house and we ain't going anywhere, that's when you really need to get to know somebody.
Mhm.
I would imagine it made the relationship stronger. I would think getting out of
It,
it.
it did, because I supported her 100%, and I couldn't force her to do anything, but I always encouraged her to, maybe you need to talk to somebody, because even once COVID was over, she still had some of the lingering things. She didn't want to, like, when people could start going out, she didn't want to go out, like, go hang out with friends. She wasn't with it, so I always encourage her to, like, hey, go talk to somebody, maybe talk to a therapist to help you work through some of the issues, like, however I can support you. You know what I mean? So, and it's come a long way, and she's a lot better now. And I always encourage people to seek therapy. Don't try to, like, if you have like things bothering you, I would encourage you to go talk to someone about it, just to kind of get it out and like figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have all the answers. We're not an island. So
Yes. So, yeah, thank you for talking about your marriage. I appreciate that. And that's just something I think men need to hear. We get thrown into situations where, if you're by yourself, it was just you in your apartment and you just eat some peanut butter and jelly and you keep it moving. But
yeah,
then,
I've been chilling.
yeah, there's a lot of
Ramen noodles.
exactly mac and cheese, some hot sauce. I'm
Yeah, I've been good
saying,
with cereal. Cereal every day, bro. If it was just me, bro, I wouldn't even worried about it. I work, come home. I might not shower. I don't know. Someday, you know what I'm saying? There's no judgment here. Just it's comfortable. It's what's comfortable. If you don't stink, maybe you don't shower. I don't know. That was me in college. I'm not here. I'm not ashamed to tell your viewers. Okay, I know some of y'all out there didn't shower today. Okay, there's no judgment. I'm just saying whatever makes you comfortable. That's it.
understood.
Yeah.
Understand. Yes, I will not confirm or deny what you said, but I'm saying that yes, yes. But being a husband is an important part of being a man, and I
Yes.
talk about masculinity with the people who listen, whether it's being a husband or being a father or being working and taking care of people. Was there? So you've got two kids now. I
Yeah.
asked father this because I love it. I love being a dad, and I've got one son, three daughters. So I'm
Wow.
busy. Dad, yeah, busy. Was there a moment for you when you were a man and then your child was born, and there was that a lot of men talk about that, that's that flipping that switch from this person to that person. Is there a real moment for you where you're like, okay, I have an actual child I have to take care of? Did you feel different? Did it hit you? What was it like when you like, I really am a father right now?
Man, so I remember when my son was born and like my wife told me it was going to be a boy. I was so excited. I actually started crying. I was like, I can't believe this. I got a kid, because you don't ever look at yourself as a parent. You don't. I never imagined myself what it would like to be a dad. I was just like, well, you get married, you have a kid, and you sort it out. But yeah, the I want to say the first time when I realized, like, yeah, I'm really a dad, because I don't know, it didn't hit me. Like, we went to the hospital, we had him, and it was like, wow, he's here, it's a baby. But it still didn't feel real until like you so when I had my son, I was still filming Power, and I was doing Punisher, so he was still really little. And the first time it really hit me that I'm a dad was when, like, I remember I'd been on set for like, I don't know, like 10 hours or something, and then my wife was home with him, and I came home, and he can't talk, but he's excited to see me. And you can tell he's excited to see me because his legs are going and his hands are going. And I'm like, you happy to see me? And he's just like, he's like, oh, kicking and arms going. Come on. He's like, come on, pick me up. And that's at that moment I was like, oh yeah, I'm a dad. He been waiting on me as soon as I come to the door. Hey, I like you, man. Come here and pick me up. Give me some. How you doing, Daddy? It was good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a while, man. Where you been? Oh, don't believe me like that. That energy of him being happy to see me when I came home from like 10 hours was like I could have drank 10 Red Bulls and still wouldn't get that same level of energy that I got from just him just kicking and emoting. That's what I guess you want to call it. He was emoting. Like he's happy to see me.
That's a special moment as a father.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to see when you see your offspring love you. It's a good thing
Mm-hmm.
in general to be loved by your people, but when it's your children, it's a
Yeah,
beautiful.
man, it's unconditional, and they see you, and it's like, I don't care if you didn't shower. Give me a hug anyway. This is great. This is you. Let's play. All right, cool, man. What do you want to do? Whatever. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Um, what have you learned as a man by becoming a father? Are there any lessons? Is there something that hit you that maybe you didn't really know about that becoming a
hmm.
father taught you?
It patience. You got to be patient with your kids, and you also have to, I believe, watch your behavior around them, because a lot of times I don't think people realize the way you conduct yourselves that your kids are watching. So patience in the fact that I'll cover both points. Patience in the fact that they don't pick up things as quickly as we do, and my wife frequently has to remind me sometimes when I'm a little tough on my son. It's like, hey, he's only 8 years old. Like, he's only been on this planet 8 years, so he doesn't. It's going to take him time to understand some things. And even my mother sometimes will pull me to the side, and she'll be like, hey, you're a little too hard on him. I understand you want him to learn this lesson, but remember, he can't understand the world the way you do. The way you look at the world is not the way he looks at the world. And I had to understand that. And then I had to kind of look at myself and say, all right, maybe I need to dial it back a little bit and, give him a little rope. You know what I mean? Just because you can't jump on him for every little thing. But you need patience. And that's how he's learned. The second thing was oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was the second thing I said to you? I'm sorry. I had it. I was right there. I had it, and then I started talking about what was it? I said patience.
I'm with you. I was all in the patience there
I
too.
said the patience, and I said something else. And man, I'm so sorry, y'all. I lost my train of thought. I was,
Don't even worry
but
about
it
about
it
being
it,
bad.
in terms. Oh no, I know it now. It was watch how you watch your behavior in front of them. So the perfect
Right.
example of that is like, I don't want my son to curse. Maybe when he gets older, if he wants to, he can. But I remember one of my favorite things to say is damn. Okay. So like you see a car crash, like I watched a lot of uh there's these TV shows on television, like, camera shows, like found footage stuff that, car crashes, they talk about it. So there was one show I was watching, there was a big car crash and a big fire, and I was like, damn. And like I watch wrestling, I love wrestling. I saw moves, guy did a big wrestling fan, he did a flip off the rope to a power bomb. I said, damn. So like that was like my catchphrase. So I remember maybe we were watching The Walking Dead, and something crazy happened on the episode, and my son was there. No, not The Walking Dead. I'm sorry. We were watching the news, and there was a car accident on the BQE, and they showed the footage, and my son looks at it. He looks at me. He says, damn, right, daddy? Damn, right, daddy? And like my wife looked at me, and I was like, I couldn't even say nothing because it was like he wasn't using it the wrong way, but he had heard me say it so much. He's like, oh, this is when I'm supposed to say this.
Yep.
And that's because he's watching me. And I don't even think he's watching me like that. He don't even know what the word means. He didn't mean anything by it. He's just saying it because I say it when something like that happens, something crazy. I'm damn, oh damn, right, daddy, damn. And I was like, yeah, son, that's my wife just stared at me, just daggers through my back, like, yeah, you got our son saying damn now, really? And I was just like, ah, It's not good. This is bad. So you have to watch how you conduct yourself. Like, you don't talk to your wife a certain way in front of your kids. Got to see that. So like stuff like that rubs off.
Yeah.
And I think that was the beauty of me, like being raised by my mom. Is I learned how to, I learned how to talk to women, which is not an easy thing. Women and men are different. The way we talk to each other, interact is different. But being raised by her, I learned how to talk to women. So, I don't get myself in trouble. I do get myself in trouble sometimes. It's like I like to be a troublemaker. That's okay. Can't make it too easy for them. You gotta, every now and again. But it's important to how you present yourself to your children. Watch how you are around them. It makes a difference in their lives. It really does.
Yeah, it does. From what you were saying, one thing that stuck with me is I learned humility from my kids. There is a level of, like you're saying, the way I act, the way I may say something, I may respond to something.
Mhm.
Our kids are our mirrors. They will show you who you are.
Yeah.
Friends tell you, but your kids will show you. That's it. That's how I respond
Mhm.
to the situation. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I'd like to think that I'm calm, I'm this and that. But if my 8-year-old responded that way, it's because they saw me or they heard me.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
really, you look at yourself, you really have to step back and be like, yo,
Yeah, he didn't pull it out of the air. The situation happened. He acted the way you would act because that's what he's seen. That's what he's learned. Hey, okay, this is how daddy handles it. Okay, this is why I'm gonna do it too.
right.
So,
Yes. And that's tough. And sometimes
hmm
themselves in the mirror and be like, listen, I mean, if that's where he did it, and I don't like that. I don't like seeing him do it. I can't do that either. And sometimes it's good to have somebody unwittingly show you exactly who you are. And
that's
it's
funny
interesting.
you said humility because that happened again recently. I don't have road rage, I'd say, but I drive in New York. It's a stressful experience, and I remember one time somebody had cut me off in traffic, and I was just angry. I just hit the horn, beep, and I'm like, man, you can't just cut me off. That's not safe. All I hear from the back, my son saying, "Hey, daddy, uh, P is for patience," because that's something I always say to him when he's like rushing me, or like I say, hey, patience. You got to breathe through it. It's going to be. So he repeated that to me, and it was such a humbling. I was so proud of him, but I was humble because I was mad, and he was like, I couldn't even say nothing because he was right. He was like, P is for patience. He's like, all you gotta do, count to 3 and breathe it out. Take a deep breath. Like, because this is what I say to him. I'm just like, he wasn't trying to be shade, but it was just like, you right, bro. But like, ooh, I, I had to do it. I
I mean,
had to do it. I had
right.
to do it. I couldn't be like, nah, leave me alone. You wrong. Because how does that make me look? It's like, wait, I thought that was the lesson here. Patience and breathing through the stress. So I had to do it. And then he was like, how do you feel now? I was like, I feel a lot better. So thank you for that. It's a reminder. It's like, oh my God, he's actually learning something. So it was cool.
So the innocence of children, you have to love it. It's
Yeah.
pure. We're trying to say nothing to daddy. He's just like,
He's trying to
daddy's
help.
right.
Yeah.
Love that about my kids. I love that. Let's skip the I. The next letter in the word prize is Z, and the word is zeal. Enthusiastic devotion. I talk to a lot of men, and we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, taking care
Mhm.
of our spouse, our kids, making sure that we have everything that we need, that we provide everything. But doing that is stressful, and we as men don't do well with stress. We don't take
Mhm.
care of ourselves. So I ask men this:
Mhm.
what do you do? What do you have for you? A hobby, something that you do that is not for your wife, for your kids, for your friends, for you when life is kicking you in the butt. What's your thing?
Uh, I know you said this is live. I don't know if this is like a family show or whatever, but I'll be honest. You said to be honest. I'll be honest. So there's a couple things I do. I already told you I'm a wrestling fan. I watch a lot of wrestling. I'll play video games. Maybe I'll go do some stand up comedy. I love doing comedy, and then sometimes I do a little bit of it's
It's all
it's
good.
it's listen, it grows from the earth, so you don't do anything to it, so it's natural. It's just like a potato. I look at it like a potato. It's just like it's like a plantain. You know what I'm saying? It comes from the earth, so it's safe. So sometimes you just need to take a little edge. I'm not saying all the time, and don't overdo it. But these are things that I do to kind of help me relax and like kind of take the edge off something because there's a lot of stress and sometimes you have to find a way an outlet, because you sit there, you sit there and you don't deal with that stress. It could really affect you because, as you know, probably Harvey, black people, or black men specifically, have very high rates of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart attack. And it's because of I believe it's because of the level of stress that we go through just being black men and living in this world. So you have to find something for yourself. For me, it's wrestling, video games, and so you got to find what helps relieve your stress and helps you relax and just kind of like let go of that anxiety or whatever is, you know, causing you stress. It's really important.
I'm glad you have something. A lot of men that I talk to don't really realize that they need an outlet and therefore they don't have one. So you have a lot of men out there just going 24 hours a day, just working, trying to provide, take care of people, and they don't take care of themselves. We as black men, we attempt suicide far more than our female counterparts. We work too hard. We have high count, we're predisposed to diabetes, to
Yeah.
hypertension, heart, to all these things. So that's why I asked that. But I also ask a second question. Another
Okay.
issue that we men have is we're in this age of loneliness right now. There's a lot of
Yeah.
men who have that person to talk to. So I'm going to ask you, and you
Hmm.
can't, no family, no siblings, no spouses, and no family members. Do you
Hmm.
have a person, a man that you could call right now, not even now, 3 a.m.? You did some stupid ish. Do you have a guy you could call and say, yo, I just did something real dumb. I don't know why I did it. Do you have somebody who you feel safe enough, comfortable enough to tell? You got a person like that in your life, a friend like that? And then after you hang up the call and he joked with you, he messed with you and told you all the dumb stuff that you did. But when you were done, you felt better. Do you have that kind of person in your life?
I do. It's my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. I've known him since high school, and I consider him a brother now. I can call him any time of the day, no matter what it is, and if it's something that I just need to get off my chest. Even sometimes he won't even have advice. He just listen and be like, "Man, that's crazy," just so I have like a sounding board or someone to talk to, because it's rare. I mean, I don't have a lot of people in my life that I consider a friend. I have a lot of people I consider like acquaintances. You meet a lot of people doing comedy that they're like, I consider them like coworkers. But to say someone is like my best friend, for me, it means I can call you 2 o'clock in the morning and just break it down with you. You're not going to be like, hey man, you listen, and vice versa. I've done the same for him. But that's very important to have someone to talk to, because not having a sounding board or someone that you can just kind of be honest with, and you don't have to like put up any walls or any like, there's no, I'll have to like set something up for you, like you understand me as I am. I don't have to like preface anything I say by saying, oh, by the way, I don't want to offend nobody, but let me say, he understands, like, no, it's just you and me talking. I get it. I know you. So that's my guy.
That's great.
911 on speed dial any day.
That's what's up. A lot of us don't have that. So I'm glad that you have someone. Um, the next letter in the word prize is E, and the word is expectation.
Mhm.
Expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Where you gonna be in 5 years, bro?
Man, in 5 years, I hope to, at that point, one of my goals is I want to be a series regular. I have two: a series regular on a TV show, or have started a movie career. A lot of people don't understand how like the film and television industry works. So there's people who just specifically do TV shows. For example, if you watch Law and Order recently, if you're a fan of Law and Order, you'll see that Sam Waterston. He's been on that show for like 25 years,
Right,
and he's done some movies, but he's mostly known as a TV actor, because that's where you see him the most.
right.
Mark Wahlberg, not even Mark Wahlberg. Let's do Denzel. Brothers here, right? Let me do Denzel Washington. Uh, Early in his career, he did some TV stuff, but he's known mostly for being a movie actor. Kind of picked up with Malcolm X, and that's where his career was like. Phew. He's a
Mhm.
film actor. He only does films. He rarely does TV, if any, at all. So that's the kind of career I'm looking forward to. And in 5 years, I'm hoping to have reached at least one or two of those goals. I always set goals for myself. When I was just starting out as an actor, I was doing background work, and I would always set a goal for myself of like, look, I can't do background work for the rest of however long. My goal is to work on my craft to get better, so I can get more roles and move up within the industry. And my first goal as a background actor was to try to get background on every single show in New York. I got almost all of them, except for Power. And no matter what I did, couldn't get on the show. And then what ended up happening was I ended up auditioning for a featured background part that got me on the show. That led to me being offered a part to audition to become Black Grimace, and that was how it kind of started for me. So that was goals met and exceeded. So I'm always trying to put goals for myself, and those are the goals that I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna keep working on it, keep working on myself, my mental, and my craft, and then I'm gonna reach those.
That's what's up. So, if you wouldn't mind, can tell us what's the experience been like working on Power with one of the most popular Black shows? Forget Black, but shows in general, but one of the shows that we as Black people really put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Been working on a show that caliber.
But it's been amazing, brother. One of the things I want to say is I never really felt like it got the accolades it deserved in terms of like mainstream coverage. It was a really well written show. It was like Shakespeare, in my opinion. And I felt like it deserved more accolades than it got. It got nominated for a People Choice Award and a couple of Image Awards, but a lot of the other major ones, they kind of like didn't really take it seriously. I don't know if it was because 50 Cent was the executive producer or whatever, but you can't judge a book by its cover. That show was well written, well acted, well produced. Like everything about it was spot on. I'm not saying that because I was on the show, but I'm telling you because I experienced it. So working with all those people was amazing. It was the first show I was ever on, and a lot of people on that show were so kind to me, and they gave me a lot of knowledge. Joseph Sikora, who plays Tommy on the show, I was on a lot of scenes with him. He was always a good source of information, and everybody was kind. J.R. Ramirez, he's on Manifest now, but he played Julio. I would talk to him a lot. Omari Hardwick, he played Ghost. People are like vast resources of information, and when they know you're new and you ask a lot of questions, they answer. They'll give you advice, like especially on certain scenes. I'd be like, "Hey man, how do you think I should play this?" And they give me their advice, and I would put my own little spin on it, and we would make magic. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little intimidating. The first day of walking in there, you see all these people. You see 50 Cent, you see Courtney Kemp. She's the executive producer, showrunner. She's over there. There goes Lala over there. Martinez. There goes what's his brother's name? I can't remember his name. From not Poetic Justice. Lorenz Tate.
Okay.
So you see Lorenz Tate. You see all these faces. Then the guest stars that would come on. The Charlie Murphys of the world. Kendrick Lamar's. It was like, wow, I can't believe I'm in this world. I get to work with Timmy and meet all these people, and everyone's here to make this work. So it was a little intimidating at first. I'm not gonna lie to you, because like you come in there, 50 Cent knows your name. Hey, what up? Hey, what up, Avery? What's up? We talking like it's crazy. I got this man's music. I bought his first album. So that passes. I want to say after the first month, then you kind of get used to it. At least I got used to it, and then you stop looking at them as like this trophy thing, and you start looking at them as like, all right, these are my coworkers, my people. We're here to do a job, and then that's when it started becoming really fun for me. When I kind of got away from being like the fan, and just started focusing on the work.
Okay, that's amazing. That is amazing. At the beginning, you were talking about this show and why it didn't get the credit it deserves, and we know why it didn't get the credit it deserves.
Yeah,
We're just because there's quality shows like. Even shows like The Wire, which was amazing.
No accolades, and that, oh my god, I loved. And if you know what, at first, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I did not like the show because I thought maybe it was too real, it was too gritty. But I think that was the allure of it. It was real. There were no lies told. Like they were in Baltimore for real, and a lot of the people that got to play background were Baltimore natives, and a lot of stuff happened. I loved that show. It was so like. It was perfect. Even if you didn't understand Baltimore culture, you could understand that show, the themes that they were talking about, because it was so gritty. And again, like you said, not one award, and it was great TV.
Never got. You think when people talk about greatest shows of all time now, The Wire is on a lot of lists. It's The Wire, The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, stuff like that. But we talk about it now. But when it was out, no Emmy nominations, nothing. The disrespect is insane.
Yeah. And there were a lot of great actors on that show. Idris Elba, Michael K. Williams, rest in peace. that was on that show. Wendell Pierce, guys who really, and it wasn't a, you can't even say that show was a black show. You can't
Right.
say it was a white show. That was a show about a community, like, and it was well done. I thought they could have won an award, but they were just overlooked.
So-
Overlooked.
Oh yeah. Oh, those first season one is crazy. Every all five of the seasons,
Hmm.
amazing quality TV. And Power is another great show that was on Stars because I always felt like maybe the reason it didn't get a lot of that push was because it wasn't on HBO or Showtime. Those, I guess, were the premier channels. But Stars on the come up, and look at the show we're
Yeah,
putting out, and it didn't get the respect, which is so disappointing because it was good quality show.
yeah. I've read some reports in some of the entertainment trade magazines that said that actually Power was kind of what turned the network around. Stars needed that flagship show. They didn't have it. Power
Right.
comes around and like people start talking. Season one, season two, season three, boom, and then like complete turnaround of the network. And because we didn't know if the network was going to pick it up. Season three, you find out at probably maybe halfway through filming, like, all right, we're going to pick you up for season four, and then it was season four, and then you find out they're gonna pick up the next season. It's like, oh my god, like you. So it became such a phenomenon, and it's like, in my opinion, I feel it's one of the shows that was overlooked. I feel that show should have won some Emmys. I mean, not even just the acting. I'm talking the lighting, uh, wardrobe, set design, like everything was so New York, and it was well done, and it wasn't like, it didn't make fun of New York. I mean, it was a real thing. These are real things that happen to people. I mean, these are stories that we're telling, and wonderful stories. So I definitely feel we were overlooked in that sense.
Definitely. And
The
not only
actors as well. Sorry, the actors as well were overlooked. I thought the actors should have won some fantastic acting on that show.
it comes down to who was watching it, and we get a lot of us watched it. Not everybody was, and not only was the show well written and well done, but some great characters. Ghost is legit. Tommy, so good that went off and
Hmm.
did it. Like, that's a really good part. And I want to ask you that because obviously you've grown into acting, and this is the thing that you do. I'm older than you. I grew up with Cosby. I grew up with Living Single and Different
Oh
World.
man, I don't know how much older you are than me, Harvey. It sounds like you and I kind of grew up parallel to each other, bro. I'm an '80s baby. I know I look good. That's the cocoa butter, but I'm an '80s baby, man. Trust me. I started, my first cartoon I ever watched was Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, and I watched that every day before I went to school. Now, I don't know what part of the world you're living in, but I watched it on, I want to say, Channel 11 here in Brooklyn. It was when it was WPIX. It used to
Sir,
come on
yes,
early in the morning.
I'm a little bit older than you.
Okay.
I'm born in '74, so I'm
Good black don't crack, Harvey. You could have passed for '80s. I would have believed it. You could have passed for '80s, bro.
appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. For some reason, whenever I would look at Ghost, New York Undercover, for some reason, it connected with me. There was something about it. I liked it. They were just, you know what it was? The first set of cops that I saw who walked around and they were dressed like I was gonna get arrested by somebody wearing Hilfiger. Like it felt strange. There was a
Yeah,
look to it. And then the same thing with Power. It's gritty, of course. And I grew up in Manhattan. I was born in Manhattan. I grew up in
yeah,
Long Island. So I'm a New Yorker too. But realism, I think, is why Power really connected with the people who watched it.
yeah, yeah. It didn't feel like they were pandering. They were like trying to make up stuff. You know what I'm saying? There was actual, and they cast the show that way on purpose because they wanted real New York. I think one of the only people on the show who wasn't from New York, but it wasn't a big deal. They was Joe Sikora, who played Tommy. From the beginning, you knew he was from Chicago, and he's all Chicago. But everybody else is authentic, man. The energy, the voices, the words we use, and then I remember Courtney saying that's why she kept bringing, you know, they wanted that New York energy, so they would bring certain people. Not that we sound like them, but we just get that New York energy that we know the slang. We make it authentic, and that was one of the most endearing parts of the show. They didn't bring in people from LA. They brought people from Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Long Island, Staten Island. You know what I mean? So make it all more authentic, and that was one of the most endearing things about the show.
So you played quite a character on
Yeah,
Power. How do you? Let's turn over. So you love stand-up comedy.
I do.
So the origins of that with you being a comedian, being a comedic, well, stand-up comedian. How'd that come?
What are my origins of stand up comedy? Yeah, it's just I've always been a fun person. I've always like kind of cracked jokes. I've never taken life. I've never taken myself or life too seriously. I've always found a way to make fun of things or bring humor into things. And um, I remember the first time that I knew I wanted to do comedy. I had a coworker. I used to work at Enterprise Rent a Car. I was in at the time I was working in the claims division, and there was a coworker who was getting promoted to the division in Florida, and he was leaving. So they had this big like going away party for him, and I asked if I would be able to roast him. And they were like, "Sure, sure." So I sat down for like a day or two before, and I was just kind of like writing down jokes about him, and I think I had like maybe five, maybe 10 minutes worth of stuff. And I remember I went in front of all my coworkers and I roasted this guy, and it was great. People were laughing, and I was like, at that moment, I was like, you know what? I think I could do stand up comedy. And even before that, I used to DJ, and the guy I DJ'd with, he didn't like talking on the microphone, so it was up to me, and I would have to entertain. I would have to tell jokes, talk to people, and all of that kind of just let me know, like, all right, this is something I like doing, and that was kind of pretty much how it started from that point.
Okay. Who who do you like watching growing up? I'm, Richard Pryor, I'm Eddie, and all these famous. What comedians did you like watching growing up? Who did you kind of model your stand up
Right.
around?
I mean, I'm familiar with Richard Pryor, Eddie, but those were a little before my time. But I did watch some of the stuff as I got older. But the most people who spoke to me were, the Def Jam era. So for me, it's like Bernie Mac, Chris Tucker. Early Chris Tucker was famous. Martin, like, I couldn't watch all his stuff because my mom wouldn't let me. But the stuff I could see was hilarious. I'm a big fan of those three. I'm also a big fan of I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Sensitivity. Why is his name not coming to right now? He used to do all the roasts. Older guy, I can't. And his face is in my head. I cannot remember his name right now.
You want your Comedy Central now? Is that the one you're
No,
talking
he used to do like the old school. He was like a joke comic. He was on Johnny Carson a lot.
about? Who
He
you
he
talking
was in
about?
he was in Casino. Remember, he was in Casino. It was an older white man, bald. He had like a powder blue suit. He was like the assistant, and his
I
name is not coming.
know who you talking about. This is why you know I'm older than you because I can't remember anything. Oh my god! Yes, I.
Yeah, you have an idea of who I'm talking about. I cannot remember his name, but somebody's going to be watching this, be like yelling it at the screen. We can't hear you. You could say his name again. We can't hear you. So okay, after we're done recording, Harvey's going to go look up who I'm talking about. I'm going to go look it up and be like, yo, it's gonna blow your mind. You're like, oh, that's who. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't remember his name. And here's another hint. They did a movie about him on HBO, a documentary following his career. And every time he would come out to the stage, they would bring out like this Toro. Like he would roast everybody from top to bottom. And it always used to make me laugh how quick he was on his feet. I wish I could remember his name. Is a white guy. I'm so sorry, but you maybe Google it and
I'm doing.
you'll.
It's gonna bother me if I don't remember his name. I'm
I
gonna be.
know it's
Oh, this is aggravating.
he was an older gentleman in Casino. He was on Carson a lot. I can't remember he did some old. He's old. He's not like somebody. He's like from the '60s, but
Oh, I
he.
asked that part. I know who he is. I just can't remember his name. Can I tell you? I put in Mr. Sensitivity, and Ralph Tresvant came up because he has.
Oh no! So man, you know what you type in? Type in Casino, and you'll see it. He was in Casino. Um, he was a comedian in Casino. Type in comedian in Casino, and Google should bring it right up because he was the only comedian in Casino.
Okay, I get. Where is he? I'm no. Okay, I'm not gonna spend all the time. Like, I know who you're talking about. He's rude. He's rude, but in
Yeah,
the nicest possible. And I
he's an
love.
insult. He's an insult comic. But I used to watch some of the highlights of the roast he would do, and it was just it was. I imagined myself controlling a room like that. Everyone was hanging on his every word.
He was
So.
fantastic. Yeah, I
Mhm.
said it a little while ago, but
Yeah,
and it's
and another comic. Some of you may not be familiar with. He's a Brooklyn comic. His name is Rashid Thurman. He passed away a few years ago, but I always liked Rashid's style. I saw him live before I started comedy at this dinner club, and he was hilarious to me. And then I got to see him on Bad Boys of Comedy. I was like, man, this guy's got it. He has got it.
the
So
guy
these
you
are the
think
people.
the guy you're thinking of is Don Rickles.
Don
That's
Rickles. That's right. Now, did you look that up, or did it just finally? Yeah,
finally. It took me forever to get him. I used to
yeah,
love him on the roast with Dean Martin and Sammy
yeah.
Davis Jr. He would attack everybody. He would go and try and
Hmm.
tear him to shreds. That's tough. That's hard comedy. To be able to get
Hmm.
set and do it, but to be on, be on your feet and just be able to rip people, that's a skill.
Yeah, it is. And he was talented and he always made me laugh. It was never came off too mean. You know what I mean? So like it always made me like laugh. I always appreciated how he did it. He's a master at it.
And this brings about a question. So when he was coming up, you could pretty much say just about anything in terms of comedy because
Yeah.
people just look at it as entertainment, as jokes and such like that. Him coming up now, he wouldn't do as well because we're so we're very standoffish. We get insulted easily.
Hmm.
How have you found the comedy stage when you do your stuff? Do you have to be careful with what you say? Do you have to be careful of the crowd that you're talking to? What are you thinking before you maybe put it set together? Or you just go out there and do some comedy.
I'll be honest with you, if I'm thinking about how the crowd is gonna react to something I say instead of working on my jokes and stuff, I don't think I'd be as good. I don't think comedians should be worried about their material in terms of well, this is going to offend the crowd. You have to speak your truth. Some of the things comedians learn is like, look, you have to take risks. It's a part of comedy. That's the only way you're going to learn what's funny and what's not funny. And I don't think it's fair to censor people. Um, I think back in the days of Dom Rickles, people understood like context. Like here, we're here to laugh. We're here for jokes. This is not the real world. As soon as we step out of this room, boom, you're not going to hear these people telling these jokes in your office meeting. That'd be inappropriate. But we're in a setting, in a venue where you should be open to like ideas and stuff. And even if it doesn't work, don't laugh. You know, sometimes you do. I remember I was telling a joke on some stage and it wasn't working out. I remember a guy threw a wing at me, um, to a chicken wing. Was it right? No, but he was his own special way. He's telling me, hey man, I don't like that joke. It's not funny. That I'm like, I was like, all right, it was terrible. I understood it. But I don't believe people should be censored. I mean, certain things are offensive, but like everybody has a different taste. Maybe what offends you may not offend somebody else. And it kind of sucks too because the way the comedy scene is now, because like the idea that comedians have to take people's cell phones and lock them up to protect themselves. It kind of sucks. Like I remember I was at the Improv in LA and I remember Dave Chappelle just popped in and he did like an impromptu 45-minute set. And he asked everyone kindly, hey, please put your phones away. This is just for you. This ain't for everybody. And there was still some lady who took her phone out, felt the need to just prop it up and kind of hide it. And, I remember he saw her and, he was like, hey, I just was doing this for y'all, but since, you want to record, I'm just going to end the set early and we missed out on it. So I think people have to understand, like, there's context and it's just comedy. This isn't the manifesto of this community. It's just, he's trying to make you laugh. It's a joke. We all got to breathe and say, not everything is, offensive.
Right, right.
Just
So
a
I have a
joke.
question. Yeah. What do you prefer more? And if you don't, if neither one of them fits, then it's fine. Do you prefer stand up or do you like that maybe the serious acting that you do? Which one do you enjoy doing more?
Um, I do prefer stand up. I do the acting also. I mean, I love acting as well. Acting pays the bills, but with stand up, I kind of get to be myself. I don't have to pretend to be a character. I don't have to like follow a script. With stand up, I'm me. The voice you're hearing is me. It's my thoughts, my ideas. Maybe they're, exaggerated to an extent because you got to entertain, but I don't have to be. Black Grimace. I don't have to be Ringo or whoever. I just get to be myself, and that is the most fun.
Okay. Okay. So the last letter in the word prize is the I in the middle, and it doesn't represent a word. It really represents you. So when we take away all the titles, father, actor, comedian, employee, best friend, whatever, when it's just you at your core and nothing else, who are
Who am I? All right. So I'll share a secret with you. My stage name is Avery. My real name is Kevin. I was born Kevin Mason, and that's who I am at my core. I'm a sensitive guy. I like food. I'm a big fan of soul food and West Indian food, and yeah, no, I'm a sensitive dude, man. That's who I am. A lot of people see me on TV and think, like, yo, I'm this tough guy. I'm this, but honestly, I'm just a teddy bear. I'm one of the nicest people you meet. If you ever saw me in the street and you want to say what's up, I'd definitely say what's up to you. And it's just me. I don't have security. I'm not encouraging anyone to try anything because you can catch these hands. I did do MMA for about 3-4 years.
you? Okay.
So I learned how to handle myself, and I was also a bouncer for a number of years too before I really got into acting proper. So I know how to handle myself. But I'm just saying, you can come up to me. I'm approachable. You can say hi. I'm a friendly person, and that's who I am.
Okay. All right. Three more questions.
Sure, man. Take my time. No rush. Do your thing.
Thing. What are you afraid of that you cannot control?
The dark. Sorry, I'm sorry. Listen, if I walk into, I don't know, there's got to be something to it, but like, if I'm alone in the house, I gotta have lights on. Like, I couldn't explain to you. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if there's like a psychology thing, and like, it's not like I know there's nothing there, but I can't see anything or hear anything. So I'm like, now let me put the lights on, make sure somebody don't pop up on me or like surprise me. Like, I'm gonna see you coming. At least if the lights are, I'll see you come. I have a chance to get ready. But I don't know what it is. It's something about being like alone in the house and like all the lights off. I have to go in and put the kitchen light on. I gotta go in and put the bathroom light on just in case I gotta go in there. I can see who's in there. It's not like I think there's monsters. It's just how Harvey's laughing. Why don't you walk around with a flashlight? I mean, you don't judge me, all right, Harvey? All right, I'll have a flashlight, all right, brother. I can't see what's there, and if I know I'm alone in the house, I get a little tense. I need to see that like there's nobody there. It's not like a monster thing. It's not the boogeyman. It's just there might be, a boogie crackhead in the shower. I just want to. I want them jumping out at me and like trying to scratch me or something.
It's
One of
the
those things.
unknown that bothers you. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I see what's in it? You don't hear nothing. You're like, yo, what's going on? Like, it takes me a long time to fall asleep. Sometimes when I'm in the house by myself, it takes me a long time to be like listening. I'm like, what was that? Like, I've never, you know what? Honestly, I'm ashamed to say I've never addressed it. But when I go to my therapist, I go with like things that really, like the dark does scare me a little bit, but things more like anxiety and just getting out of my own head about certain things that happen in the acting, why I didn't get this job and stuff. I talked to my therapist about that, and those are more important. The dark is just, I get there at some point. I get there.
What are you afraid of that you can control?
What am I afraid of that I can control?
Control.
Hmm. The pressure I put on myself to succeed. This is also something I talked about with my therapist. Once I started acting work and it became a way to, to pay the bills and stuff, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get auditions. Like when I wouldn't get certain things, I'd get really frustrated and upset because, you know, I can't fail. Like I quit my job to do this. I have to do this. And every audition was like a do or die. Every single one. It was like there was 10 seconds left on the shot clock and you're down by 3. You have to hit the shot. Every single one was like that. I remember my therapist saying to me, like, don't you enjoy acting? I'm like, yeah, I do. She's like, so are you having fun? I'm like, hey, I don't know. It's just I'm not getting these things. She was like, go back to having fun and stop putting that kind of pressure on yourself because it's taking the fun out of it for you. You like acting, don't you? I do. So she's like, enjoy the process. Stop thinking about it. I mean, it's a job, but like if you go into every audition, like, yo, my family got to eat. I got just you're not going to enjoy the process, or maybe your work might not be as authentic. So every time I have an audition, I just kind of work on just enjoying it, just having fun putting it out there. And if I get a hit, great. If not, it's not the end of the world. You keep living and you keep growing and you go on to the next one. Essentially, that's what I had to learn. It's didn't work. On to the next one.
That's the answer for most men. For us, potential and achieving what we think are the
Hmm.
things we're doing. I have this opportunity. I've got this job. I've got this family to take care of. The thing I'm afraid of most is not taking care of them, not doing
Right.
my job, not fulfilling my potential. So your answer is what most men think. Last question.
Okay.
You have a daughter now, right?
Yep. 1 month. She's 1 month old. On February 22nd. 1 month.
Let's say in 5, 6 years, I'm lucky enough to meet your daughter and I get to ask her, tell me about your daddy. What would you want her to be able to tell me in 5 years when I ask her?
I got a question for you about daughter. What do I have to expect? You got four of them. You can give me some kind of advice. You got three? Yeah, you got three daughters and one son. So you can give me some advice with daughters because this is my first one. What would she say about me? Yeah, she said, I I want to be like I don't want to be thought of as like overly strict parent. I just want to think like, yo, he was a loving dad. He was supportive. He pushed me to, chase my dreams, and he was always there when I needed him. My dad wasn't there for me for a lot of stuff and life events. My mother was, and she got to experience a lot of those things. I'm so glad my mother got to see me on the red carpet. I'm so glad my mother got to see me, succeed at this high level because, we know where we started from. My family immigrants. You know what I mean? So for us to attain this level of success, it just made her so proud. So I'm glad she got to see that, and I would want to be there for my daughter like that, where I could see all her great moments. You'd ask her, she's like, yeah, he was there for all. He was there at graduations. I won these awards, jujitsu, because I'm gonna have her in some type of self defense, karate, MMA. You understand? We where we live. I need her to be able to handle herself. just like Daddy does. So
So,
I just wanted her to say that I was there for her, and whenever I wasn't an absentee dad. I wasn't an iPad dad. That I was just a dad.
right. If I can give a small bit of advice as a
Yes.
father of three, you already said it, so I think you're going to be fine. My daughters don't always like me, which is fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
They always love me, which I think
Right.
is important. But more importantly, I am always there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If there's any bit of advice I can give you through the good, the bad, through the arguments we have, the disagreements with all the stuff that we go through in life and social media and the clothes that they wear and the stuff that they say and how they may disrespect mom at some point or do something, the fact that you are there when it's happening and you can lead them through it. Kids
Hmm.
will kids like to know that somebody's got their back. And
Yeah.
if my daughters will say, he has my back, then I've done my job.
Yeah.
And you
Absolutely.
definitely going to do the same. We Black fathers, we take care of our kids come hell or high water. They don't have to
Yeah.
like it, but they know it's there.
I
And
mean,
that's
do you consider do you consider yourself like your children's friend? Are you like their friend, or you're like, nah, I ain't your friend?
no, occasionally,
Yeah.
occasionally, but sometimes it just flows because we have that kind of relationship where we can laugh and we can joke and we can do whatever. But
Yeah.
we know there's a limit. Like
Yeah.
we friends all go. There's a moment like, all right, it's a wrap. Now go do your homework or something, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like being their companion through life. I like being
Yeah.
around for them.
I definitely agree with that. I see that way with my son now. I'm friendly with him, but there's like there's a line we can't cross where you don't go there, but we keep it here, and so the hard thing too is like knowing how to back off. He's getting older now, so that I don't have to like be on top. He's gonna be 8. I'm like I'm gonna be on top of him as much. So the hard part is me kind of like backing off and just kind of letting him, you know, make his waves and like correcting him when he needs it, but just kind of, hey, that's the decision you want to make. You sure?
That's the
All
hardest part of being
right.
it's the hardest part of being a dad is watching them fail. And sometimes you got to let them do it. It sucks, but it's
Yeah,
life.
because he be looking at me help, like especially with the homework, for example. Homework, like, yo, how do you do this? That like, hey man, I can't tell you how to do that. Otherwise, you ain't never gonna learn. What do you think is the right answer? I don't know. So I'm asking. Take a risk, see what you get. But you right or wrong, you will figure it out and you learn how to do it. Like I can't do it for you. Nobody did it for me. Nobody.
Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I'm so glad we got to speak. Where can people find you? Where they can connect with you? Social media, websites, I guess dates for your next stand up. Where can we get to?
Awesome. Well, the best way to keep up with me right now is right here. If you follow me on Instagram, it's Avery Mason official. Twitter, it's the Avery Mason. TikTok, Avery Mason, excuse me, official. You can go on there. I post the flyers for all the shows that I'm doing. I do have some shows coming. I'm not sure when this episode is coming out, but I'll just put it out there. I'm doing a spot at the Grizzly Pear Comedy Club Midtown. That's on March 6th, and then on March 7th, I have another comedy show. I don't have the details in front of me, and I apologize for that. But if you go to my Instagram, I'm gonna post the flyers. You can keep up with me there. www.averymasonofficial.com. And like I said, if you see me in the street, if you say what's up and want to take a picture, I'm all with it. Unless I'm with my kids, give me a little space. But if I'm by myself, hey,
That's what's up.
come say what's up.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. It was fun. I had a good time. All his information will be in the episode notes. Go see your man. Go support the shows. Support Black actors, Black comedians. Let's keep it going.
I
I,
almost forgot, Harvey. I'm sorry to cut you off. I almost forgot. And I'm just listening to your glowing review. And I love it, man. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate the opportunity for this conversation. It's been wonderful. But I also want to remind you, viewers, like I also have a podcast that I do with another comedian named Phil Hunt. It's I am Phil Hunt on all social media. It's called I Don't Know Though, and it's basically an advice podcast where we discuss pop culture, we discuss sports, a lot of things that guys like, but then we also delve into the advice stuff, which is basically if you never heard of those Dear Amy columns they have in newspapers, we actually answer real advice questions that people send in, but we do it from a comedic perspective. But like, we're not, I mean, we might say some, drop some gems on you, but probably just going to laugh and just trying to throw a few jokes in there and, just not make fun of a bad situation. But we don't take like crazy serious questions. We take questions like, my mother wore white to my wedding. How should I feel about it? It's just little minutia of life, and we just kind of laugh at things like that. There's silly questions, a lot of silly questions that come in, and people just want some, perspective. So we give perspective, but we also give a lot of laughs. So please, if you're interested in checking out that podcast, it's called I Don't Know Though. It's available on YouTube, and you can also get it if you don't have video. You can also get it wherever you get your audio wherever you get the Men of the Prize podcast. You can also get our podcast, and I guarantee it's on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, wherever. We're on all the platforms.
Perfect. I will put that information in episode notes too. So if you want to listen to another great podcast, feel free to find that. It'll be in the episode notes. Thank you, Mr. Mason. Much appreciated. I'm gonna go find your podcast and listen to a few episodes myself.
Yeah, tune in, man. It's a good listen. Fun, light.
So hey, sometimes we just need something to laugh about, man. Life can be tough sometimes. I need
Yes.
to chill sometimes. All right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put this here. What a great episode. Thank you, Mr. Mason, for coming on. Good conversation. Just good men chopping it up, just talking about life. Keep watching Power. Keep watching, keep keeping up with Avery and see what he's doing. And let's see this man on the rise. I'm glad I caught him early before he blows up. Then he got time to talk to the regular people. And before he got security when he's walking around Brooklyn, he ain't got to say nothing to nobody. But right now, I was lucky to talk to that brother. Thank you so much. Men, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I hope I hope you learned some stuff from here. Becoming a dad is a big moment. Appreciate it. Spend some time with those kids, look in their eyes and enjoy that. Feel the love that they have for you. There's nothing better than somebody being happy to see you. And I know that feeling when I come in and my kids are happy to see me. It makes my day. And sometimes life can be tough. Don't forget that life is difficult, that we struggle at times, but it's important that we push through, that we stick around, that we don't make bad decisions, that we stay on this earth because our family, our friends, our people, everybody needs us. We need you. I need you because you're a great man. You're a wonderful person and you are the prize. And I'll see you next week.